We're Ray and Barb Lee. We live in the Kitchener area in Ontario, Canada.
Well, we heard about For My Life because we were having some infertility issues. We had tried for 6 years to have children, and then found a medical reason why we couldn't, so the doctor did the surgery and we got pregnant, and then had a very complicated miscarriage. Then after the miscarriage, they discovered there was a cyst, and they did not want to do another surgery because by this time I was 39, and the third surgery that year wouldn't be good for another pregnancy, and the doctor was really concerned because the cyst should have, normally a cyst like that would just die when the pregnancy was terminated, but it didn't, it kept growing. So a pastor friend of ours gave us a book. They said, would you be interested, or do you think it could be a possible, spiritual route? And we were open to that, so we got the book, Be in Health, A More Excellent Way. And when I was reading it, I just, it talked about breach between a mom and a daughter, and I just realized that there were some breaches, and I dealt with those, and I just happened to have a doctor's appointment the next day, and the cyst was gone.
This is a two-part testimony there, and that was, and then as a result of that, we had Catherine. And then, well, that should be easy because I had a cousin, they were married for 10 years, and they were trying to have children first 10 years and never did, and so they finally adopted. And then immediately right after that, they had 3 of their own. And as a result of that, my family history is, oh, that should be easy for Barbara and I. But that didn't happen, and it was 6 years later. And then when we went down to Pleasant Valley again as a family, and then I went back. At that time, I was struggling with a little bit more fear because we were late in getting married, and then I was thinking about our age now, and then we were thinking about finances. So there were some other fears that were still in the background in my own life. And the thought says, well, if God gave us Catherine, who am I that I should stop having children right now? Because it was God's mercy and grace that He has allowed us to have Catherine, and who am I before God just to shut things off right now? And so I repented of that, and then we got pregnant, and Nathan came along a year later.
Well, we did do the medical route, and we prayed, our whole church was praying, and through the miscarriage, that was really supported us, to have that prayer support, but there obviously was a block, and so, we tried medical and we tried prayer, and we're just thankful that we were able to start dealing with some of the stuff that separated us from God. We just have, you can think that you have peace in your life, but when you start to really have peace and joy, you realize that was just a false peace. And so we're just able, we just continually, every day, you have to apply the principles and get to walk out. And we have 2 kids that are great to help us.
Actually, just being a little bit more specific, as a result, between Barbara and I, we've had to deal with other health issues as they surface. And because we understand the principles, I had scoliosis, I had back spasms, I had chronic fatigue, in the 3rd stage of exhaustion. And as a result of applying these principles, they have disappeared in our lives.
Make that trip because your life will be changed. Even if the root of your disease is not, you're separated from God, and even if that isn't what the root of your disease is, your relationship with the Lord will be so much stronger, and your life will be so much fuller, and you'll have more peace and joy. It's just an investment that I think everybody should do.
Mm-hmm. For me, one of the things that I remember, aside from being healed, is just while being down there, I think you feel saturated with the love of God. You feel it within and without, and that's overwhelming.